Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm a Common House host. Each of our hosts is interviewing another host, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Karen, who is from Phoenix, Arizona. She's a trained spiritual director and a church staffer. So, Karen, why did you want to be a part of Common House? What drew you to this role?
Well, hi from the desert. It's already springtime here. I think it's really something I was thinking about this question because it's the first question for all of these interviews, and it's really something that I kind of fell into. And like I bought this planner, and there's a Facebook group, and then we're looking for spiritual directors, and then I turned around, I'm like, wow, I'm like neck deep in Common House. And so it's sometimes, that's weird. It's not the first time that's ever happened to me where I go, well, how did I start? How did I get here? And I'm not, sometimes I'm not sure. And so I've come to think of that means that maybe the Holy Spirit is at work here, that all of a sudden I turn around and go, wait a minute, where am I? So I did kind of fall into it, but it feels good. And so I'm sticking around.
Great. So what do you bring to the host team that's unique?
I think I'm the only person working in a church, so that's kind of a different feel. It means that I'm used to that weekly rhythm. So, like we all have our conversation days in the Common House once we get going, and our presence days. So that sort of weekly rhythm is something that I'm used to. We call it the tyranny of Sunday, because no matter how terribly worship goes, or your class or whatever, or how wonderfully it goes, you have to do it all over again in 6 days. So, just kind of roll with it. So there's like a Zen quality to that. So I think that weekly rhythm is something that I really appreciate. That I think we'll fall into at Common House. And also my congregation is very language intense. We're very intentional about the language that we use, not just gender inclusive language, but really just being careful because we're so diverse theologically here, that we're really just there's like an extra pause before words come out of our mouth that I think works really well in an online environment. And it's just, I think it's a welcoming way to be thoughtful and think about how your words are going to be perceived by another person.
Yeah, great. So what are you most excited about sharing with the Common House community?
Well, I think there are only a couple of us with kids at home. So that's something else I talked with Karen Bergstrom about yesterday when I interviewed her, that really there's a spirituality of parenting that is lost in the sort of busyness that in our families' lives, that every week I have families coming to me and saying, well, we've got a hockey tournament, or, well, it's baseball season, or whatever, fill in the blank, Girl Scout camp, whatever, that really our families are so frantically busy. Even when we're not really busy, there's always these things intruding on family life. And so the ability to build pauses into family and some intentionality and some ritual, something I hope to bring to my own family, selfishly, and also to something that I want to talk about in the Common House.
Great. So what would you like members to ask you about? What can they come to you for?
I think, well, anything that I've already mentioned. I also am really fascinated with discernment. And so that's something that I want, seems like another really good fit for an online environment. And it's just an everyday thing. And once you start looking and thinking, wow, I'm discerning, then it's everywhere. And so it's interesting once you start being aware of that, how many things around you turn into a discernment conversation. So that's one thing that's wonderful. Also sort of embodied spirituality. I'm also a sexuality educator here in my congregation. And so that's something else that we're all so here. We're all in our heads all the time, that really loving and cherishing our embodiedness is something that will be fun to explore in an online environment, because we're all screen to screen and typing things. That how can we connect and feel the connection in our bodies? I think I'm just really curious about that.
Yeah, great. So what's the best way for members to get connected to you outside the Common House?
Probably just a message in Common House, and then I can share an email or connect by Facebook, message request on Facebook. So lots of different ways. I do write for our conference blog. So that's something I'd be happy to share, but it's not probably the best way to really contact me.
Okay. Well, thank you, Karen, for sharing with us and for being a part of the community. Is there anything else you want our members to know?
Yeah, I think I want to also talk about the theology of walking my dog. So stay tuned.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Definitely a theology to that.
All right, thanks, Kim.
Well, you can learn. Yeah, you can learn more about Karen by reading her bio and following her in the Common House. So be sure to check out the other interviews and meet the rest of the Common House hosts and leadership team. Thanks.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.